Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Thursday night football. We got the Baltimore Ravens at the Miami Dolphins. Ravens minus 7.5. The total is 50.5. Firstly, good morning. Waking up early to do this. And secondly, it's the Ravens to win and to cover for me. And listen, I really liked what the Dolphins did against the Falcons. And as someone who thinks Mike McDaniel honestly isn't the worst coach in the world, it was fun to see him have that victory lap and see him get that upset. And we saw the Dolphins completely dominate the Atlanta Falcons on the road. But I think this is a bigger test, and I get it. The Dolphins are at home. They always play good at Miami, but also this game isn't at 1 p.m. on a Sunday. It will be Thursday night, and let's talk about the Ravens. The Ravens are in an Alamo situation. The season's on the line, and it could be this team's last Super Bowl window on the line in this game. I'm not trying to be melodramatic, but there are high stakes for this game, and Lamar Jackson needs to come back and he needs to hit the ground running. And we all thought he would be back against the Bears. And the Ravens were lucky to get that win. They were lucky to get that Caleb Williams slop served to them. And they took advantage of that. So credit to the Ravens and credit to that Ravens defense. But this game is going to be about the Ravens offense. And I want to give credit to the Dolphins because that defense has looked better the last 3 weeks, although that's not saying much. They completely stopped Bijan and the Falcons running game. So we know they're playing a little bit better up front. But I just think the Ravens are going to overmatch them and dominate them up front. I do think Lamar Jackson will get a few explosive plays through the pass against a really, really bad secondary. And there's so many bad defenses in this league at the moment. There's 7 and 8 or 8 putrid defenses in this league. I think we forget how bad this Dolphins defense has been. There's been no personnel improvements, especially in the secondary, and I think the Ravens can exploit that, especially on the play-action pass. But why would the Ravens do much passing when you can just run it down the Dolphins' throat? And I don't want to make this so simplistic, but I just think this is a Derrick Henry game of him going forward, and I think the Ravens get to that 27-30 point mark. On the other side, the reason why I like the over, and the reason why I do like the over is because the Ravens play a lot of man-to-man coverage, and they have gotten healthier in the secondary, but it does seem like Tua is more comfortable, and this Ravens pass rush isn't fierce, and we know they've already lost a lot of players on the defensive line, but even if they were fully healthy on the defensive line, this isn't a Ravens front that can get to you without blitzing. I feel like their strength is more or less staying in their run fits. So I think Tua will have time, and I think this Dolphins offense will be a dance partner to push this towards over. Now, do I think the Ravens secondary showed signs of improvement last week against the Bears? I do. I don't think the Dolphins are going to have a field day like they did against the Falcons, but also there will be spaces, and like I said, heavy man-to-man from the Ravens will open up Tua and Waddle. They will be able to make plays. The Dolphins will be a dance partner for the over. But overall, I like the Ravens minus 7.5. It's a Thursday night game, so we know how that goes. We're going to get a little bit of a sloppy game, but give me the Ravens minus 7.5. Give me the over 50.5. Now, let's get to the props. It's not the greatest prop night because a lot of them are inflated. Now, for receiving props, I was thinking about Waddle. It opened at 59.5. Now it's up to 65.5. I feel like that's a little bit inflated. So give me Malik Washington over 29.5 receiving yards. I was going back and forth about this because I like his catches over 3.5, but give me the yardage. And the rationale is simple here. The Dolphins don't have a great offensive line. And like I said, like I don't think the Ravens' defensive line is going to create havoc or control the pace or tempo of the game by any means. But we know the Dolphins want to get the ball out of Tua's hands as quick as possible. And Malik Washington's always an option in the slot. I know Westbrook Akine is emerging, getting more targets. But give me Malik Washington over 29.5 receiving yards. I actually really like his matchup in the slot against the Ravens too. And one last prop I'm going to go with for the Ravens. I'm going to go Derrick Henry over 89.5 rushing yards. And this is against my fundamentals. Once it gets up past like 75, 77 rush yards, I normally go under or I don't touch it. But I just feel like this matchup is screaming out Derrick Henry, 100-plus yard performance. Like I said, this Dolphins run defense has looked a little bit better. They are fighting better than they did earlier in the year, but there are limits to this, and this is a Ravens offensive line that will be a good test, and I think the Ravens offensive line wins the battle. And then you add Lamar in the backfield, that opens up read option. Now, we don't know if we're going to see a lot of Lamar running it, but just the threat of him taking off just adds and stifles the defense, especially on the defensive ends, having to secure the edge and not letting him get to the outside. So give me Derrick Henry over 89.5 rushing yards. I was tempted by the Zay Flowers, but it's at like 66.5, 65.5. So I can't say I love that, and I can't say I know how the Ravens receiver distribution goes. And anyone who's been betting the Ravens or betting props a long time knows that, like, they got a lot of targets. Like, we don't even know what's going on with Andrews and Lively, how those targets are going to work out. You got Bateman always lurking for a big surprise, big game. So I want to lay off the Zay Flowers, and I want to keep it simple. Give me Derrick Henry over 89.5 rushing yards. Give me Malik Washington over 29.5 receiving yards. Everyone enjoy the game. Hit the like button. Upsets to bet will be up later today. Let's get this money. Good morning.